Hi everybody, I'm Charles Morgan from Comic Week, and I'm with Brianna Beebe from Alpha Comics.
Hi.
And we've just spent the last few hours unboxing everything cool Diamond sent you guys for this week, this new comic book day. And it's a holiday week, so it's not as big as it's been in previous weeks, but there's still things that you're definitely going to pick up. Actually, interestingly enough, a lot of #2 issues that are definitely noteworthy. But before we get started, the two titles I'm most interested in reading when I get home are from Image Comics. One is Ascender #7. This is Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen's sci-fi epic. And the other one is Criminal #10. This is from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I think for my $4, that Criminal is probably the biggest bang for the buck you get. It's an oversized comic book. It's not filled with ads. It's got a dense story, and this is the climax of their Cruel Summer storyline, which has been going on, and it's just been one of the best storylines in all of the Criminal titles released to this point.
So two that I thought looked really good is this one. I was very curious how Oracle looks very Destiny-ness, X-Men character. That's what I immediately thought. But yeah, it's going to be one of those fancy covers. Apparently something's going on. It looks like Batgirl's not doing too hot and is becoming some sort of AI. I don't know. I haven't been reading Batgirl, but this cover legitimately caught my interest. So I'm curious to what's going to be happening with that particular issue with 41. And then also, Star Trek Picard's going to be starting this week. So that is a fun thing. It is a countdown, specifically, probably towards the new TV series, all that jazz. So if you are curious about that TV series and you want to kind of get a taste of what it's going to look like, this might be a good kind of pre-read for that.
It's hard to believe. I was in high school when Star Trek The Next Generation debuted, and I remember like all of the EPK, you know, lead-ins to the show on like Entertainment Tonight and all this, you know.
So I watched after reading Rainbow, and I legitimately thought the actor was the same character in both things because they were back to back. So that was a very confusing time for my tiny self, just assuming that like not only is he like on the start like doing things on the starship, but he's also like gonna go read to children after work or before work or something like that, like some sort of college program.
Maybe reading Rainbow took place on the holodeck.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. But, like, that was just my brain assumption because at the time I didn't understand what actors were. I just thought the characters were real.
Did I ever tell you I had a crush on a girl in college who actually appeared in an episode of Reading Rainbow?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Her grandfather actually also invented the Slinky. So I don't know how you can be part of two great phenomena, but there you go.
I feel like... Okay.
So we have a lot of #2s this week that are worth your $4. The first one is going to be X-Force #2. This comes with a fantastic 1 in 25 retailer variant, which you may get lucky and find one in a store. You know, not many stores are going to be ordering 50 or more of those. But it's just beautiful. The Supergirl Who Laughs.
Annual. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, Batman Who Laughs has been hip-hopping around everywhere and kind of jumping into different personas of particular heroes, which is both very interesting and really disturbing.
Well, I would like to see the Sandman Who Laughs.
No, thank you.
No, thanks.
No, let's not.
Joe Hill's Hill House horror titles continue with the second issue of Basket Full of Heads. The first issue is just a great taut thriller. You know, you basically have a home invasion going on, some creepy dudes like trying to maybe cause menace, and the only thing that stands between the victims and their killers is an axe. So we're going to see what happens. Do they get out of the house? What's in how does the basket full of heads become a basket full of heads?
I feel like this comic is going to be very dark.
Right. Then we got Cobra Kai #2 from IDW. This, of course, retells The Karate Kid, the original film, but through the perspective of Johnny Lawrence. This is sort of, you know, in the real universe of the movies and the TV show Cobra Kai. So this the issue 2 takes place where Johnny and his Cobra Kais are trying to teach Daniel LaRusso a lesson, of course, in Johnny's perspective. Danny's encroaching on his space with his girlfriend, Allie. Of course, they run into Mr. Miyagi. So it's just an interesting revisionism of the way that original movie was told. And I'll continue to read this because I'm just a sucker for 80s nostalgia.
I mean, that's reasonable. And unfortunately, the actor who played Mr. Miyagi originally has passed away. So you can only have so much rejoining of that original cast.
Right. And the original movie really was like a story between a father and a son, you know. So, of course, another Marvel title is going to be Fallen Angels #2, another X title. So the first issue is really full of a lot of action. I'm sure the series is going to continue. Pretty much the entire X-Men universe is where Marvel is at right now. It's like firing on all cylinders.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really excited about the second issue of Grand Design Fantastic Four, which comes with 2 fantastic covers.
Essentially a retelling of what the narrative has been for Fantastic Four, barring any type of rewrittenness in it. So it's going to give you a more cohesive look at the storyline. So if you're someone who's just getting back into comics, they also did one for X-Men. They actually did, 3 different ones for X-Men?
Yeah.
And then now they're getting into Fantastic Four. I won't lie, like the 3D-ish covers kind of
Wonk you out
me out a little. But it's cool that you can have something that's going to be that cohesive, because we have gotten a couple of people coming in being like, so I haven't been in comics for X amount of time. If you're not going with Grand Designs, there's also Marvel History of the Universe, which is a cool one to go with. Hopefully DC will go in a similar route eventually.
And there's also that great Spider-Man life story, which came out. So, and that's the thing with a Marvel Universe. It's got so many characters and so many periods. Like, you almost need to have that reboot once in a while to get the younger readers, or even readers who like dropped on and dropped off from time to time, to get them caught up to speed on what the current canon is.
Well, and as somebody who's a little extra fan of history, I personally like it when you can kind of see where things all gone from, because it can get a little bit convoluted.
Right. So here are the number 1s for the week. Brianna will go through them for you.
All right, so we have Philadelphia. I can say words. Scream, Curse of the Carnage. So if you're a fan of the Scream series from Absolute Carnage, this is going to be another series for you.
Ongoing.
All right, and then we have Ogres. It looks interesting.
Yeah, this has watercolor art. It's a
cool.
one-shot, I think. No, it's a 1 of 4.
Okay. All right, and then we got Conan the Barbarian 2099. Make sure if you're going to your local shops, you're telling them if you specifically want the 2099 one-shots, because it's not going to be like a continual storyline. It is going to be individual one-shots, as well as Annihilation.
Not as much cell phone usage in 2099 as I would have expected.
They just get it booted directly to their brain. Then we have Goth Young Lovers at War. Oh, goodness. I mean, it sounds interesting, but it's a lot of title. And then we also have John Constantine Hellblazer. There was a one-shot a couple weeks ago. This is going to be the actual main new series that's going to be starting, and it's going to be in the Sandman universe.
Also, if you get a chance, your comic book store may have the sketch cover, which is pretty cool. It actually has this cover underneath the sketch cover, but there are not too many of those. I think you guys got maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, it might have been like a limited quantity type thing. All right, and then we have Last Stop. Is he a monkey?
Yeah, so he's like the world's last superhero who has a terminal disease, but then like his arch nemesis comes around, so he has to fight him. And this is actually an interesting imprint from Scout Comics. This is their non-stop imprint, and what this is they'll put a first issue out, and then they'll tell the rest of the story in sort of a collected volume.
Interesting.
So the first issue is the collectible, and the whole story is told in 1 volume.
Huh, that's cool.
So that's interesting.
All right, and then we have Punisher 2099, same with the one-shot from Conan, just keep those in mind. And then we have, what is this, Space Riders. I can read that tiny, tiny font. Totally.
Right. This has like some of the coolest art of the week.
Yeah, it's wow, that is super neat.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just definitely got this like sort of retro vibe.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool. All right, we got 1 more.
All right, so then I have Tales from the Dark Universe, and this one is going to be Infinite Crisis. You're going to see a lot of Infinite Crisis-y thingies coming out because of the TV, whatnot, going on CW in the very foreseeable future, but which I'm very curious about. I hadn't been keeping up with a lot of the TV shows simply because of time reasons.
Yeah, and in this one, you have Blue Beetle becoming the main protagonist, or antagonist, I guess, in the Crisis of Infinite Earths.
Is it connected to Scarab at all, which was the year the villain one-shot they did with Blue Beetle?
I don't know. I don't know. But, you know, if it's an infinite multiverse, you know, with you know, never-ending number of possible arrangements. Wouldn't there be like a multiverse where like the main protagonist would be a paperclip, and it would be like basically he'd be on a desk of like an executive at a failing video game company, like in their last months of being in business, and then like the whole thing would end because someone spilled coffee on it.
Yeah, that's interesting. My favorite is the Whedon universe where like everything's just shrimp unexpectedly, and they never show it. It's just talked about by a bunch of different characters in Angel. So that was always interesting. As a child, I just assumed everything was sentient shrimp.
You can't unsee that. Can't unsee that. All right, guys, that wraps it up for the new comics and the things that are coming out this week, things that we're excited about. Of course, we're really excited about Turkey. I can't stop thinking about it. But if you want a chance, the comic we're giving away this week is going to be Spectacular Spider-Man number 90. This is from May 1984 and a 9.4, and it has the first appearance of the black costume in the Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man series and appearance of Black Cat.
Yep.
So anyway, for Alpha Comics and Comic Week, thanks for watching. Please leave comments and let us know what you think about this week's titles, and we'll be happy to answer them. For everybody, bye-bye.